Welcome to MHStv. I'm Alex.
And I'm Maxwell, and here's your news for Friday, March 25th, 2022. Last week, we went over the jazz band's trip to LaPorte High School for the ISMA competition. Jazz band member and MHStv reporter Levi Shadell got the chance to interview some of the students in the band about their experiences so far.
The creativity and the kind of freedom you have to do whatever you want at the soloistic type parts, and the kind of stylistic of it, how it's more swingy. It just has more groove to it. You can just follow into more, and it makes it sound better as a whole band, I feel like.
So when I was a freshman, I wasn't really into band that much, but then all of a sudden it just kind of hit me that this is what I want to do. And there was this one specific senior, his name was Xavier, and he was amazing at the drums, and that just kind of sparked me to get into it, because he always did jazz band, so I just knew it would be a good experience, even though it's waking up at 5:30 every single morning, but it's just a really good experience.
If you're thinking about trying out music things, just go for it. It's just a matter of finding out what fits best for you, because not everybody works with every instrument. So it might take a while, but if you find something that you really dig with, then you just stick with it, and it can be one of the most entertaining parts of your life. Definitely recommend it.
I think you should definitely at least attempt to do it or try out, because it's something new and something very interesting, and I definitely enjoyed my year doing it.
I'd say do it, because it's been a really amazing experience for me. A lot of people said they didn't even think that I would do it in high school, but I'm so glad that I did, because it's just been one of my favorite things since I started it.
We wish you luck on your next performance.
Before we took a break from the air, we covered that chamber choir were heading to state for ISMA. On February 19th, the choir performed at Indianapolis. All 12 soloists received a gold along with the soprano alto ensemble. The bass tenor ensemble also performed and received a silver. All choirs are now looking forward to competing in the ISMA organizational contest in April. Congrats to the chamber choir. In other choir news, next Wednesday, March 30th, is the spring choir concert. The concert starts at 7 p.m. and is free with a suggested donation. Come out and support the choir.
For anybody who has an interest in writing stories or is wanting to be a part of the news, the MHS All Told is always open for new members. The group meets in Mrs. Buckman's room on Mondays during advisory and is run by me, Maxwell Collins. Anybody interested can either drop by room 262 or email Mrs. Buckman or Maxwell Collins.
Yesterday, our robotics team, Giddy Goats, left for competitions at Jefferson High School. They'll be gone until tomorrow. Before they left, I interviewed them for this season.
From Mishawaka High School, it's the Giddy Goats.
This year's game is called Rapid React, and it was chosen by FRC as a transportation game, and it's sponsored by Boeing. And so every year there's a different sponsor that sponsors the major game. Mariah and Adam are our programmers, and Carrie is pretty much our all-around. She does kind of everything for us as far as packing, organizing, and small tasks. And build. Christian is our CAD. We have, and the rest of the gentlemen all work in the build side of it.
As captain, it's my job to keep things organized, so I kind of assign jobs and make sure that everyone is staying on task and is doing those jobs.
Basically, my job is to sort out all the electrical components of the robot.
So basically what I do is I help put together the robot, and I normally cut any pieces of metal that need to be cut.
When we got down to Kokomo, we did a great job, and a lot of the kids admitted, as well as me, that we didn't even think we'd have a robot to compete. We ended up 23rd out of 32 teams, and our main issue where we lost a lot of our points for that was we had a chain break, and we were not able to intake balls.
I think it went pretty well. We had some pretty good teams that we were able to pair up with, and they were able to help kind of coach us through our first game. So for it being our first game, I think it went actually pretty good.
Not only does FRC teach practical skills that will be useful in case of going into fields such as computer science, STEM, really that sort of stuff, but it also teaches things like, teamwork, problem-solving skills, time management, prioritization, It also gives pretty good scholarships too.
Stay tuned for next week's news for the match results and if they made it into the postseason.
The schedule for MHS is looking pretty interesting over the next few weeks. Spring break begins on April 1st and goes until the 10th. In other schedule news, MHS students will have April 15th off for Good Friday, leaving only 2 full weeks of school in April. Seniors, don't forget to turn in your MHS scholarship form. This form was handed out in advisory and has a front and a back side to it. MHS offers a wide variety of scholarships to help students pay for college. If you have any questions, see the main office staff.
Student Council is having another Spirit Week starting on Monday. The hope for the last week before spring break is to lift the spirits around school. Monday will be School Colors, Tuesday Decades Day, Wednesday Dad Day, and Thursday PJ Pants. Friday will be the start of spring break. As we near the last grading period, there are some big events coming up. We'll have the Spring Musical at the end of April and then Mayfest after that. Prom is also just around the corner as it is scheduled for May 14th. Lastly, commencement will take place on Thursday, June 2nd in the East Gym. That is all your school news for this week. Now to Levi for a look at sports.
Welcome to your Caveman Sports. The boys track team has prepared for a competitive season. Here's a preview of what to expect from them this year.
Mishawaka boys track athletes are ready to face off in a competitive season which begins on March 16th. The Cavemen are hoping to retain and achieve beyond their 3rd overall finish in the NLC last year. After the departure of several senior athletes, the Caveman boys track team is readjusting in order to perform as well as they did last year. Many newcomers have arrived in order to strengthen the team, and a good selection of returning runners are aiming for personal improvement.
My goals for this season is to obviously improve all my times. Definitely want to get, closer to the 400-meter record, and I want to help the team out as much as I can in terms of points, and I want to win.
My goals for this season is to contribute in the 800-meter dash, high jump, and the 4x4 this year.
A lot of hard work goes into development in track and field, and a portion of the team members have been training since December.
To be honest, what I like most about track is just the all-around atmosphere. Great guys, something that I originally thought was just going to be like a third sport turned to be like something that I genuinely enjoy, and I made a lot of friends through it. It's a great experience.
My favorite thing about track is watching people develop, especially some of my friends. We've all been here for 4 years, so watching them get better in their particular events.
My favorite thing about track is competing, definitely. I definitely do like the competition, and on track meet days, I like preparing for them, and I like living up to the competition.
The team's goals are large, yet achievable, as they head into a very competitive track season.
We could definitely use more guys, so if you want to come out, go ahead. It's a great atmosphere. You'll enjoy it.
Many of us look forward to seeing the team succeed.
Last Wednesday, March 16th, the Caveman boys track team traveled to Penn to compete in their first meet of the season. The Cavemen would unfortunately fall short 85-47. However, Ryan Hoopengardner would get first, while Liam Bauschke would get second in both the mile and the 2-mile. Trey Woods and Kanan Jewett also went first and second in the long jump. The boys and girls track teams then traveled to LaPorte to take on the Slicers. Both Mishawaka teams won on a rainy night in LaPorte. The boys won big by a final score of 93-39. The girls won on Wednesday 95-51 on the road. 8 athletes will be inducted into the 2022 Mishawaka Athletic Hall of Fame. One of those is head wrestling coach and former wrestler Steve Sandifer.
8 nominees were inducted to the 2022 Hall of Fame, with Greg Smith and Steven Sandifer being part of the Caveman Athletic Greats.
An honor. A lot of friends that older than me, my age, are in the Hall of Fame. It's a great honor to have your picture up here in the hallways. A lot of people come in, especially for the Al Smith. It's great to have the state pictures up there as well, but it's a huge honor.
Mr. Sandifer, who was a 2009 Mishawaka graduate, who was a 2-time state champion, a 4-time state qualifier, and had a record of 183-11. Here's what it takes to be in the MHS Hall of Fame.
I thought about that a little bit, and I think that you really would need to be like a standout in your era, not just at the school, but maybe locally and the statewide as well, but just somebody who stands out above the others.
Mishawaka had its annual sports awards Wednesday night in the Cave. Scholar athletes were announced as well as the prestigious Frank M. Steele Awards. The Cayman wrestling team presented Associate Principal Chad Brew with the NLC Championship Trophy. The Frank M. Steele winners for this season were Brady Fisher, boys basketball, Emma Wendt, girls basketball, Keegan Mabey, wrestling, Braxton Banks, boys swimming, Lily Deeds, girls swimming and diving, and Brenna Dubé, cheerleading. On March 30th, the Student Council will be hosting a dodgeball tournament. Your team can have 6 members and must have at least 2 girls on the team. Team submissions must be turned in by Monday. Don't forget that the Purdue men, IU women, and Notre Dame women basketball teams are all competing this weekend in the Sweet 16. Good luck to all the Indiana teams. That is all your sports for this week. Back to Alex and Maxwell for some local news.
Fiesta Tapatia has recently moved from its old location on Main Street near John Young. The restaurant has now moved to a new location at the old Charming Charlie store in Heritage Square in Granger. The restaurant is currently in-house dining only, but hopes to expand in the future.
On March 2nd, a new baby girl, Sichuan Takin, was born. The baby weighs around 50 pounds, but compared to her 550-pound mother, she is tiny. As you can go see the baby, you can also check out the new giraffes while you are there.
Last week, we informed you about a bill affecting e-learning days, House Bill 1093. Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb recently signed House Bill 1093 into law. This law limits all public schools to the use of 3 e-learning days per year. This law will go into effect next school year. Now to Jack for our weekend weather forecast.
My name is Jack Osborne, and this is your weekend weather. Today's weather is cloudy with a chance of rain and snow with a high of 48 and a low of 33. Saturday has a high chance of snow and rain. It will be a cloudy day with a high of 45 and a low of 26. Sunday will be a clear day with some clouds with a high of 40 and a low of 29. Now back to Maxwell and Alex.
That's all your news for this week. Shout out to Maxwell Collins.
And shout out to Alex Stewart. Have a good weekend, cavemen.